Hi, hello, good day all of you. Welcome to our session. Welcome to our channel, Intelligible Tutorials. In this today's session, we are going to talk about the K nearest neighborhood algorithm, one of the best machine learning algorithm. So here, I would like to give you some introduction of this particular algorithm. Yeah. Now coming to the K nearest neighborhood algorithm, we have discussed machine learning is divided into several types. In that, supervised learning is one of the technique. So your K nearest neighborhood algorithm is also one of the supervised learning machine learning algorithm. So this supervised learning is again be divided into two different types. One is the classification and another one is the regression, right? So this is used for classification kind. So this is used for mainly classification algorithms and but also can be used for regression kind of the task. Okay, so this is the introduction of your K nearest neighborhood algorithm. Now it works by finding the K closest data points for an input data and predicts based on majority classes how it is going to be done. First of all, for this, we are going to see a diagram here. Okay, see if you observe the diagram, for example, if you observe this particular diagram, here this is a new data item and we are having two different classes, diamond, green diamond classes and as well as the blue diamond classes. So what here it is going to do, it has to predict this yellow particular data item into either class 1 or class 2, either category 1 or category 2. For that, what it does is it finds the nearest neighbors by based on the Euclidean distance. So calculate the distance between this point to this point. So what is your Euclidean distance? This thing will learn in your mathematical things, right? In your mathematical basic mathematical level, the Euclidean distance. So if at all you are having a line that is origin 0 comma 0 and 1 comma 1 and 2 comma 2, this is the point. To find out the x1 y1 and x2 y2, two different points, then Euclidean distance can be calculated as square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, right? So this is nothing but the Euclidean distance. So what this algorithm will do is it calculates the distance between the neighbors based on this formula from yellow point to nearest neighbors. And from here it identifies another points like this. Okay, so this is also one of the nearest neighbor point. So in the class 3 it identified three nearest neighbors, whereas in the class 2 it identifies two different number of the numbers, two different number of the nearest neighbors, right? So where the maximum number of the neighbors are there in that particular class, this item is going to be predicted. So where this item is going to be predicted into the category 1. Okay, so where the max number of here it is the number 3 number of items, here it is 2, so 3 is max, so this particular data item is predicted into the class 2. See, the same thing here also happens. If you watch this diagram, this is also similar diagram. Yellow color data point. We are having green data points and the yellow data points. This is a blue data point. So what it is going to do? It is assigned to category 1. How? It is finding more number of nearest neighbors in the category 1 and less number of the items in the category B. So that's why this item is assigned to category 1. So like that, this algorithm will work. It's very easy to learn. And what are the other things? See, if you see this particular diagram here, the input value is a cat. But in the KNN classifier, it reads one cat and one dog. So to which it is this diagram input value is similar to the cat or dog to the cat. So which is similar to this is here it predicts that. Okay. So this works on two different kinds of the principles, this KNN algorithm. One is the distance, that may be Euclidean distance, Manhattan distance, etc. And the second one is nothing but similarity. So is there any similar kind of items will be there? Animals groups like you can say such kind of the examples: animals, flowers, birds, etc., etc. We can see the similarity here: fruits, colors, etc. Here in this case, there is no distance calculation. Distance calculation will not work in this case. So then in this case, the similarity works. Okay. So k nearest neighborhood algorithm works on two different principles. One is the distance to find out the distance among the data items from one data item to another data item, and the second one is nothing but the similarity. Okay. So this is the similarity. Like this, the KNN classifier will work. We will see one more example based on this. We will see the working procedure of this particular algorithm, how this algorithm is going to work. Okay. See here, step number one. If you see the step number one here, select the k number of neighbors. Already we have selected the k number of neighbors in our previous diagram. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is the k here? K is nothing but 5. Okay. Calculate the Euclidean distance between k number of neighbors. We have calculated the Euclidean distance here. We used this Euclidean distance measure for calculation. And then take the k nearest neighbors as per the calculation Euclidean distance. Among the k neighbors, count the number of the data points in each category. Uh, sorry. Already we have counted the data points. In the class A, we are having 3. Sorry, in class A, yeah, in class A, we are having 3. Here we are having 3 number of nearest neighbors. Here we are having 2 number of nearest neighbors. And then what this fifth point is, we calculated 2 in C2 and 3 in C1, and assign the new data points to the maximum category for which number of the neighbor is maximum. So obviously here C1 is the maximum one, where C1 is equal to 3, C1 greater than C2. So the data item can be falls under, data element can be falls under C1. So this can be predicted in C1. The same here it is showing C. If you observe this diagram, new data point assigned to the category 1. Okay. So like this particular algorithm will work. Once again, select the number of k neighbors, calculate the Euclidean distance, take the nearest neighbors, and then calculate the number of points in each category, and finally assign the new data points to the maximum. Okay, where it is belongs to, and finally the model is ready for this. This is nothing but the working procedure of the KNN. Okay, and then we are going to see what are the most widely used distance metrics. As I told, the first one is the Euclidean method, and Manhattan distance, and Minkowski distance. These three are the mainly used methods, and among them most widely used is Euclidean. Okay, so these are the distance metrics, and then we will see some more introduction, another parts what we didn't see we are going to see now. See, it works by finding the k closest data points for an input and treats based on the majority similarity. So majority similarity, as in the previous example, we find C1 and C2. So majority is C1, so the data item is predicted into C1, and the class for the classification. And regression, it checks the average value, where which class having the more average, that can be predicted as the data item. For example, in the regression you are having class 1 and class 2. Class 1 having more average, okay, and class 2 having less average. So then that can be predicted into more average. And the next one, it is called as instance based method. Why it is called as the instance based method is, the other name of instance based method is also called as memory based method. That means it doesn't train. Instead of train, it remembers. all the data, whatever it is there in the data set. Okay, here also the same. What it is going to be done here, this algorithm is learning all the entire class 1 and as well as class 2. Okay, just remembering the data points. That's it. Here also see, if you see the classifier, it is remembering the cat diagram and dog diagram, which are similar to both of them. Then only it is going to be predicted. Okay, so it remembers, the classifier remembers based on the memory. So that's why it is called as the instance based method. And see now the classification problems assign the test data point to the class that appears most frequently among k-inverse neighbor algorithms. So where there is a maximum, there we can assign that particular data item. We can also say this as the class with the highest number of neighbors. Okay, the same here also the same. That's what we did. We're having the higher number of number neighbors in the predicted class. And for regression kind of the problem, as I told previously, it finds the average. And as well as KNN is a non-parametric method used for predicting continuous values. And the core idea is to predict the target value for a new data point by averaging the target values. KNN regression is a non-parametric method used for predicting continuous values. Okay, so it is a non-parametric method for predicting continuous values, and the main idea is to predict the target value for the data point by averaging the target value. So as I told, C1 and C2, where there is more average, so there the class is predicted. Okay, so that's what it is saying. And regarding the non-parametric, I will say in the next algorithm what do you mean by non-parametric. Okay, so these are the distances. Once again we will see the KNN. So this is the introduction part of the KNN algorithm. KNN neighbor is a supervised in machine learning, and both classification and regression tasks it can be used. So it finds the classes with maximum number of the nearest neighbors. Where the maximum number of the nearest neighbors occurs, it predicts that particular data item there. And for the regression, it finds the maximum average value. Where there is a maximum average value, there it is going to predict. And it is also called as an instance based method. Instance based method is one kind of memory based method. Okay, and the next one is classification problems and regression problems. This is the these are the distance metrics, and this is one classifier which is going to remember the diagrams. Based on that similarity it is going to predict. And then here, if you want to predict any kind of data item which are having nearest neighbors maximum in which category, it is going to predict that class. So this example and this example illustrates the same, where the maximum number of neighbors will be there this can be shown. This is the working procedure of the algorithm. So in my coming videos, I will explain the practical explanation of the KNN. So keep watching. If at all anybody didn't subscribe my channel, please subscribe my channel, Intelligible Tutorials. Thank you, one and all.